Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm the Adult Services Librarian here at the Waynesville branch, and I'm starting a new monthly video called What Should I Read Next? So to kick it off, I thought what I would do is find 5 books that have been on the New York Times bestseller list for a very long time. Most of you have probably read at least 1 or 2 of them, and give you some suggestions of books that are like those books. I want to help you figure out why you like to read what you like to read and how to find other books like it. So let's get started. The first book is Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with this book. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list and still is on the list 111 weeks. So just a quick description of this book is it is a debut novel, which is amazing, set in a small coastal town of North Carolina back in the 1960s. It's a murder mystery, a coming-of-age story, and also a celebration of nature. The writing style has a lot of in-depth descriptions, especially all the passages about the natural world. She's really good at that. And the story moves at a leisurely pace. So I found 2 books that are very much like this that you may want to try. The first one is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. And the reason it's very similar to Where the Crawdad Sings is because it's also leisurely paced. It has a romantic bent to the story, and there's wilderness survival in both of these books. And very importantly, they have very sympathetic characters, and modern social issues are addressed in both. And the third one is Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Brunt. This also has sympathetic characters, a little quirkier than the other 2, has an emotional intensity. It's very character driven, which means the story moves along by the characters and the way they interact with each other more so than events that happen. It's also a coming of age story, and modern social issues also play a key role. All right. The next book I would like to highlight is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list for 56 weeks. So this book is about a therapist that becomes obsessed with uncovering the truth about what prompted his client, who is an artist and refuses to speak, to violently murder her husband in a way that triggers mass public speculation. So 2 other books that are like that. The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. This one is also described as disturbing, compelling, and intricately plotted, just like The Silent Patient. Also has a theme of an unreliable narrator, just like The Silent Patient, and it is of the genre psychological suspense. The characters are somewhat unlikable and flawed in both of these books. And the other one that I wanted to mention that is much like The Silent Patient is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This was also on the bestseller list for a very long time. Also described as disturbing, bleak, and intricately plotted. Unreliable narrator, deals with toxic relationships, and the genre is psychological suspense. Characters also are flawed and unlikable. The next book I would like to highlight is American Dirt by Janine Cummins. It has been on the New York Times bestseller list for 34 weeks. The description of the book is that a bookstore manager selling 2 favorite books to an unexpectedly cultured drug cartel boss is then forced to flee Mexico in the wake of her journalist husband's tell-all profile, finds her family among thousands of migrants seeking hope in America. This is a character-driven novel. It's very fast-paced and tension-filled. So if you like that, let me give you a couple more that you may like as well. Where We Come From by Oscar Casares. So this is also character-driven. It offers a close-up, tension-filled view of the complexity and the risks of undocumented immigration. The difference with this book is it is a little more leisurely in its pace and very reflective. The characters are very complex. And the last one is Afterlife by Julia Alvarez. And the reason that this is like the other 2 is it is also issue-oriented, has themes of immigrant experiences, and the characters are very complex. I would say that the pace of this one is somewhere in between very fast-paced and very leisurely. It's a great book. The next one I'd like to highlight is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. Was on the list for 33 weeks. Volunteering for Eleanor Roosevelt's new traveling library in small-town Kentucky, an English bride joins a group of independent women whose commitment to their job transforms the community and all of their relationships. There are very well-rounded, likable characters in this story. It's very atmospheric, and there's a strong sense of place and time throughout this whole story. So let me give you a couple of suggestions of books like that. The book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Richardson. The reason that it's much like this is strong-willed woman. They become pack horse librarians in 1930s Appalachia. The characters are very well-rounded. There's also a strong sense of time and place to this story, and in-depth commentary on the prejudices of the day. And the last one I'd like to suggest that is much like the other two is the Oysterville Sewing Circle by Susan Wiggs. This book doesn't feature librarians, but it does have themes of an ensemble cast of women, really highlights female friendships along with characters that are very strong and very authentic and real. And the last one I would like to suggest is a couple of books that are just like The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. This was on the New York Times bestseller list for 32 weeks. So Ann Patchett, the New York Times best-selling author of Commonwealth and State of Wonder, both of those are great books. She has written what some are calling her most powerful novel to date. This is a moving story that explores the indelible bond between two siblings, the house that they grew up in, and a past that will not let them go. The writing is very lyrical. Themes are very much about domesticity, sibling relationships, and struggles with poverty. Characters are very complex and very likable. Another book that is much like that is Anything is Possible by Elizabeth Strout. The reason that this book is like that is it has that lyrical style of writing. It's also about domestic relationships and poverty, and the characters are very complex and introspective and likable. And the last one is The Children's Crusade by Ann Packer. And the reason that this is like those, it is told over multiple decades, also very atmospheric, features domestic relationships, and offers very well-drawn, complex, likable characters. Make sure you check out one of our great online resources on our library webpage, haywoodlibrary.org. Under Services, go to Online Resources and check out Novelist. You can put in any book that you've really enjoyed, and it will give you suggestions for authors and other books that read a lot like it, and you can create lists that you can save on there. And if you need any help with that, just give us a call at 828-452-5169, or you can email me at kathleen.olsen@haywoodcountync.gov. I will make the list available of all of these books along with links for you to put them on hold for yourself if you'd like. Just go to our webpage, and under Services, check out Reader's Advisory. Thanks for watching.